This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Legacy United Cliffjumper versus Everybody pack. Okay, so it's just Tarantulas, Squeeze Play, and Tarn, but it's still pretty close to everybody, I guess. And should say specifically for this video, we're going to take a look at the Prime Universe Cliffjumper after we get him out. And he's all by his lonesome there, and I think he is actually a new mold. At least I don't recognize this mold. So that should be interesting because, as you guys know, I don't usually look at the instructions before I try to transform. And in this pack, Tarantulas is the only one I've actually transformed before. What's cool though is on the side we have like half of the quote poster image, and on the other side we have the other half of the poster image. So if you cut off these flaps, you could put them together. On the top, we just see the versus thing again. And on the back, we have all of them. And looking at Squeeze Play, he also looks like, I don't think he's probably not a new mold. I'm not sure who he's related to previously made. But Tarn was a new mold, and I never picked up the previous version because I have no real connection to this character because I wasn't really a fan of the IDW comics, to be honest. And I did see him in Cyberverse, which is what this version is supposed to be based on color-wise. Well, let's go ahead and get Cliffjumper out of this box, shall we? So even the box itself is split, or the insert. And we have our instruction booklet for possible reference. We also have one big set of extra items. So we will set all this aside until later. So to be perfectly honest, aside from these things that are Tarantulas, I don't actually know what any other thing these go with. Just taking a quick look at the back of the box though, it would appear that this goes with Squeeze Play, and this mess goes with this Cliffjumper. Right off the bat here, I feel like I'm going to have to look at the cheat sheet there and figure out how these work. Because even looking at that image there, I have no clue whatsoever. Unless, wait. Because it looks like this is supposed to form some kind of like gripping thing here. Oh, okay, okay, hold on. All right, we got that part. This doesn't make. Well, anyway, I got at least part of it put together, I guess. I mean, if you look at the picture of the vehicle mode, this is supposed to go on top of there, but I don't know what this part's supposed to do now. Because this doesn't fit in there. I guess you can put it here, but that doesn't make much sense either. Anyway, let's set that aside. So let's take a look at Cliffjumper here. Prime Universe. That's the normal head sculpt for those. Lower the camera. Dude, I am not really sure how to do about this one. But let's go ahead and look at articulation first. So it does appear that his head is on a ball joint. You can kind of twist it to the right and left a little bit. But it's very tight. We can look up and down a little. You can nod. That's about all. Arm-wise, He can spin his arm around, but the little flap here that is part of his door, or the back part, gets in the way. So even though even though it has the ability to do a 360, it gets stopped by other parts. We can kind of move the arm up and down like this. We can hinge it out. There does not actually seem to be anything that actually holds the arms up in place. There's like no tab or slot that it hooks into. So that is just a freaking mess in my opinion. I don't like it. Not at all. We do have a cut here above the elbow so we can get a full 360 spin. We have a single hinge, it looks like, at the elbow. His, oh, for the love of, his fist is barely on there, and even though it looks like it's meant to fold in, it pops out in a heartbeat. You know, hopefully that's not actually needed for the transformation, and that is just there. But that is so cheap, man. That is just awful. And also, it's not hidden by the door at all. But so they did not put a pin in here. So when you do rotate this, it does like to pop out. I'm also not a fan of these transformers where part of the transformation just keeps it out like this in front of the fist. I think it's best if they can get the fist all the way out there. He does have a spin at the waist, 360. No ab crunch. His legs can kick forward really high. He could be a line girl. And they can go back about that far, but he does get caught up there. He can fully do the splits sideways. Obviously, he can't do the splits front ways because, again, can't get that back leg over there. He does have a waist or a thigh cut, so we can spin around the top of the leg. Single jointed knee specifically. However, it does appear, well, no, maybe not. Trying to see if I can pull the leg out to get a little additional articulation, but it's not. Oh, there we go. So if you want to kind of mutilate him a bit, you can get some additional knee bend. But unless you got a specific pose in mind, you're probably not going to want to do that. But we do have the ankle pivot or rocker. Although, in my opinion, it's pivoting the wrong way. I mean, we do get a little bit towards the inside so that, you know, when you have them stand outwards, you can have the bent that way. But I don't know what the point of that would be right there. So that being said, let's see if we can transform him without the instructions. And I have not actually watched anybody else do a review on this set yet, so this should be interesting. So to do a quick pause here, Obviously, I can get the back part of this more or less put together, so it's all about trying to figure out how the legs go in. Which the problem I'm having here is, oh, maybe that's fix it. Finally figured out how that went. And look at that. We managed to transform him without instructions eventually. I still don't know what that does. So that can go on the back like that. I still don't know what this part is supposed to be for. Alright, so it looks like his wheels are all done as mushroom pegs. Two different styles. They barely roll when you put weight on them. This one barely does anything at all, period, to be honest. So let's take a quick look at the book now that we've done that part, because I want to see what the hell those parts are supposed to be for. Okay. So what it shows in vehicle mode is putting those two things on the side there. That is lame. Lame. This is the one thing that I cannot stand about Transformers, especially modern day stuff, is it's just like randomly peg crap into the vehicle mode to get it out of the way, and that's how they do it. And that is so stupid. I cannot stand it. Of course, there's all sorts of different things you can do with this stuff for robot mode, which unfortunately means trying to get them back into robot mode. So overall, the Cliffjumper figure doesn't look too bad. So the different various stupid things we can do with this is, of course, nope, can't even do that. Well, if we hinge this out a little bit, so we can kind of get him to hold this like that, like a little claw weapon that way. However, apparently what you're supposed to do is have him hold it like this, like lame. And then what we can do is take these parts here and make it look like little insect legs on his arms. Again, lame. Like, for one thing, just for the heck of it, why did they give us two different shapes for this if this is all you're going to do with it anyway? Like, there's no specific perfect purpose, apparently, for that. Let's see here. Okay, so let's revise this just a little bit. So I had to reference the book again. You can actually fit it on his fist like this, friction-wise, which is a little bit better, but not much. I mean, to be honest, the robot mode and the vehicle mode on Cliffjumper here both look pretty good. The weapon is just stupid. Like, this feels like afterthought kind of stuff, right? And the issues that I immediately have with this, of course, are the way the hands work and the fists there. Aside from the fact that they're fully covered by the side of the car there, that hinge is just it hinges just enough to put the weapon kind of on the fist friction wise, not held, just stuck to it. But also, as you saw one earlier, it pops off super easy because they couldn't even be bothered to put a pin in there to hold it in place. The shoulders here, there is nothing that snaps here to hold them in place. So when you're messing with it, the arms just go all over the place like this anyway. That's lame. The flaps for the back of the car, back roof of the car, they get in the way in robot mode. They don't bend enough to get out of the way. And I don't know, it might have affected the overall look of the car. But if they could have had like this set up in kind of like a joint, ball joint maybe, where they flipped back and then you could flip them down to get them out of the way, that would have looked better or worked out better. But I think his robot mode looks fine. His vehicle mode looked fine. It's just everything is so loose and craptastic here. I just don't like the weapon is stupid. Again, they gave us these two different things, which you can't even really combine these into anything. Like, if this had been longer so that you could actually have it fit in the peg hole there, that would have been something at least. Then it would have been like a double long kind of gun thing, maybe. Or if they'd had a peg at the end here where this could have plugged in like this, or even like this, but it doesn't. And since they are designed different, this being kind of round and this being more square, it just looks stupid plugged into the side of the car too. And how many cars do you see with a gripping antenna on the top? Kind of wishing I waited until this thing went on clearance before I bought this pack now. Anyway, that'll do it for our Cliffjumper review here. I hope you enjoyed it. I think he's going to be a fine display piece, but it just doesn't seem like he's going to be a fun toy. Please leave a comment. Tell me what you think of this Cliffjumper. Peace and love.